90% of Facebook ad strategies are outdated. That's why today I'm going to share the Facebook ad scaling strategies that's working for me in 2024. And most people running Facebook ads are still using the old way of scaling. So what is the old way of scaling? The old way of scaling is interest scaling, scaling with lookalikes, and horizontal scaling. So what's wrong with interest scaling? Number one, interests are a dying targeting option. There's not so many of them, and Facebook every year cuts more and more of those. Also, Facebook is becoming more of an automated platform. They don't want you to hyper optimize your campaigns. They want you to just set up very generic targeting, and they want to figure out everything for you. And if you're using interest scaling, you'll be limited on how much you can scale because every audience is limited. Even if it's like millions of people, it still has a cap on how many people you can sell to in that specific audience. You'll also see higher frequency, which means higher CPMs, higher CPC, lower click-through rates if your audience is small. So the strategy that a lot of people want to do with very small audiences and just like hyper specializing what they want to target on Facebook doesn't work anymore. So what's wrong with scaling with lookalikes? Number one is the size. These audiences are not that big. Usually they're a few 100,000 or maybe a few million people, which means you will very quickly run out of buyers in those audiences. So you can scale to very high numbers with lookalikes. And on top of that, if you're creating lookalikes of buyers and you are optimizing for buyers anyway using conversion optimization of Facebook, then it doesn't make sense. It kind of defeats the purpose of creating lookalikes in the first place. And what's wrong with horizontal scaling? Number one, you're gambling with audiences and placements. And number two, Facebook algorithm is advanced enough already to place your ads where it's most likely to get buyers. So with all of these methods, most people are just focusing on hyper optimizing and micromanaging their campaigns instead of just letting Facebook do it for them. So what is a new way of scaling Facebook ad campaigns? I call this the 3-hour optimization method, or a lot of people are calling it the surf scaling. This is where every 3 hours you're making changes to your ad account based on the daily performance. So you would increase the budget, you would decrease the budget, and you would also cut some campaigns. If you've been running Facebook ads for some time, you might have noticed that on some days, let's say on Mondays, your performance is very good, and then on Tuesdays is very bad. So using this method, you would be able to take advantage of the good days and maximize your profits on Mondays while minimizing your losses on Tuesdays. This method works the best with a broad targeting where you have big audiences, and let's say you want to scale some of your campaigns, you can take them from $100 a day to thousands of dollars per day in a single day without saturating the audience. So what would this look like in real life? Let's say you have 5 different campaigns in your ad account that you want to scale, and you're launching them in the morning. Let's say you're in Eastern time zone. Let's say your break-even KPI is 1.5x. So you need to hit 1.5x to break even. Hypothetically speaking, let's say each one of these campaigns is $100 a day at the beginning of the day. So let's say by 9 a.m. you already spent some money, you already have some data. Let's say campaign number 1 here, spent some money, has 2.5x ROAS. So it's profitable. We're leaving it on. Campaign number 2 only has 0.7x ROAS, which is unprofitable for us. So that campaign will probably get shut down. Campaign number 3 is pretty much at break-even point, so we're leaving it on. Maybe it will get better throughout the day. Campaign number 4 is profitable. Campaign number 5 is absolutely not profitable, so we're shutting these 2 down. So you can see we're making decisions very fast. We're cutting losing campaigns fast. We don't want to lose money. We don't want them to just spend more money, get more data. All of that is nonsense. If it doesn't work from the start, most likely it will not work throughout the day. So what we will do now is with those campaigns that performed well, campaign number 1 here and campaign number 3, campaign number 4, they performed pretty well. We're doubling budgets to $200 a day. So now increased budgets on these 3 campaigns that shown profitable performance, and by 12 p.m. you can see the results are pretty good. So campaign number 1 is at 3x ROAS, campaign number 3 is 1.3, and campaign number 4 is 2.1x ROAS. So what we will do based on this information is we would double the budgets on campaigns that have shown profitability, like campaign number 4 and campaign number 1, and we would decrease the budget on campaign number 3 because it's shown kind of like mediocre performance, so we'll get it back to $100 a day. Maybe it will stabilize performance. Maybe it will just kind of like break even or increase profitability, hopefully, but we are not increasing budget on that one. And by 3 p.m. we see the performance on the campaign number 3 at 1x, campaign number 1 at 4x, campaign number 4 at 2.5x. So based on this, we'll do another decision, which is cutting campaign number 3 completely. We're shutting it down. And we only have 2 campaigns by now. But those 2 campaigns, we're doubling the budgets again. So throughout the day, we kind of like just increasing budgets. So think about this as using like a manual transmission. Most people just using automatic transmission in their car. Most people just drive like grandmas anyway. So here you would be like a sports car driver, right? You're kind of like navigating and increasing budgets throughout the day. So we would be at $800 a day on these two. By 6 p.m., we see pretty promising results. So you can see we pretty much increased our budget. So $500 here, and we have increased our budgets to $1,600. Right? So basically we tripled our budgets throughout the day. We also cut our losers, so we're not losing too much money. And by 6 p.m., you can see we're increasing the budgets again to $1,600. So we see if we can squeeze more out of that audience to get even more sales. And at 12 a.m., our budget's reset. So at that point, the algorithm optimization starts from scratch, and next day, you'd have to go through the same round of decisions, and you would have to optimize ads based on their performance like we did here. So what types of campaigns you should be using for this method? I recommend using 3 types of campaigns. Number 1 is ABOs, number 2 is Advantage Plus shopping campaign, and number 3 is bid caps. I'll show you how to set them up right now. All right, so here we are inside of the ad account. So if you want to create campaigns of any of these types, you just click campaigns, create, and all of these are pretty much useless. Awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, all of that is pretty much useless. We're just using sales campaigns. You click continue, and now you have different options. So if you wanted to create the Advantage Plus campaign, so we would just click here and we would continue with the next steps. So this is more like automated way where you only have one ad set per campaign. It's very automated, there's pretty much no targeting, it's very broad, and you just let Facebook optimize and find buyers for you. The other ones which allow you to have more settings and kind of like more customization is a manual sales campaign. So I'll click here, and there's few options that you can choose here. So if you scroll down to Advantage Campaign Budget, right? So if you wanted to do an ABO campaign, you wouldn't touch it, right? You would just continue and you would set up your ad sets manually. But if you wanted to play with bids, you would just set it up here. Campaign bid strategy, you click bid cap, right? That's the one that I recommend. And here you would set up your campaign budgets, and then you would play with bids from here. So bid cap is you pretty much telling Facebook how much you're willing to bid for each sale that you will get. So Facebook will go ahead and will try to get you conversions at that cost. Let's say it's $30. Facebook will go ahead and find people all around the country, all around the world, whichever country you're targeting, and will try to find you buyers at that cost or lower. If you're using bid caps, I recommend to set your budgets at 2 to 3x your average order value. Let's say your average order value is $100, then your bid cap would be between $200 and $300. And then throughout the day, you can decrease budgets, increase budgets like I showed you previously. So what type of targeting you should be using for these campaigns? I recommend using broad targeting. Why? Because it's simple, right? You can have one big audience of, let's say, 50 million people. So to have that same size of audience, you would need to stack probably like 20, 30, 50 different interests. It would have to be a mess. And with broad targeting, it could be very simple. Also, it has more scalability. If you find something that works on broad, you can scale that to thousands of dollars, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars per day in ad spend. And it also allows you to compete more on your ads and the quality of your ads and your creatives than the technical setup. You wouldn't have to think, oh, my ads didn't work because I didn't push this button in the ads manager. You would know that your ads didn't work because your ads simply are not good enough. How many ads you should have in each campaign or ad set? You should have between 3 to 6 winning ads per campaign or ad set. So with Advantage Plus, it's just one ad set, is very simple. So for that campaign, I would recommend to have 3 to 6 creatives. And if you're using ABOs or if you're using bid caps, I would recommend to have for each one of those ad sets 3 to 6 winning ads. And I would recommend to separate your image ads and video ads in separate ad sets or separate campaigns. The reason for that is because Facebook will usually give more spend to a video ad even if they're in the same campaign. So your image ads, even though they might be converting very well, they simply won't get enough spent for you to see the results. So now this is what's working for us in our business, but I would recommend to always test it. So for you, it could be 1 ad per ad set that's working the best, or 2 ads per ad set. So I would just recommend testing these different strategies and finding the strategy that's working specifically for you, for your business, for your niche, and for your store. Now, these are some of the benefits of this specific scaling strategy. You can easily deal with highs and lows on Facebook. Some days will naturally be better than others, and you would be able to take advantage of great days and also minimize your losses on bad days. And if you're following this strategy, you'll be more profitable overall. And on top of that, you'll see more data. You will see at what hours people are buying the most, on what days people are buying the most. So you will learn about the consumer behavior for your specific niche, for your specific product. and you'll be able to make better decisions based on that. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have time to go like into my ad account every 3 hours. And I hear this a lot. Now, there's always ways to automate it, but even if you think about it from the business perspective, it's so much worth it, because if sitting in the ad account a little bit more time can make you a lot more money, it's probably worth it. Also, you might be thinking, would that reset the learning phase? If you're constantly decreasing budgets, increasing budgets, and some people recommend only increase by 25% or 50% every few hours, like none of that is true. Like if your ads are working, if your ads are good, and if your ads are scalable and targeting the right pocket, you can scale them very well. And if they're not performing, you better just cut them loose very fast. Why does this strategy work? To understand why this strategy works, you need to understand Facebook algorithm. When your ads launch for the day, Facebook places different campaigns and different ad sets into different pockets of the audience based on who they think will likely to buy the most. And if you're checking your ads every 3 hours, you'll be able to see which of those pockets are actually profitable and good for you on a given day and which ones are not. You have to keep in mind that Facebook algorithm resets every 24 hours. So at midnight, all of the algorithm resets and it targets a different pocket, and that pocket could be good or it could be bad. So you have to restart the whole process and monitor your ads again. There are certain tools that can make your life easier with this process. Number one, having a clear set of KPIs. These are key performance indicators, the numbers by which you will optimize your ads, and you'll make decisions whether to scale or to kill those assets or those campaigns. And I have a full document and SOP on that process, so if you comment KPI below, I'll send it over to you. Also, you can set up rules in Facebook so you can automate some scaling and some cuts. So let's say you want to minimize your losses, you will tell to Facebook at what point you want to cut your ads if they're not performing. To set it up, just go to Facebook, you can see the rules tab here, and create a new rule. So here you have a custom rule, click next, and then let's say turn off. Right? Let's say turn off campaign. Apply to campaigns, turn off campaign. Website purchase ROAS is lower than 1.5. Then time range, I would just take, let's say today, right? So very fast. And schedule continuously, right? So it will continuously check your ad account and would make sure that it would check for this performance. If this performance is lower than 1.5 on a specific campaign, it would just turn off the campaign. At the same time, if you wanted to set up a rule for increasing your budget campaigns, so increase daily budget by, let's say, 100%. All right, so 100%, meet maximum daily budget cap. Let's say I put it $1,600 here, once hourly. And so if, let's say, website purchase ROAS is higher than 1.5, then I would have a rule for scaling my campaigns automatically. So the same rules apply here, time range today, and it would do continuously. So it would continuously check the performance on my ads. If they're performing well, it would try to scale them. Now, this is Facebook native functionality, which means it might be not perfect. So I would recommend to still manually check your campaigns, and if it's not doing exactly what you want it to do, I would recommend just to stick to manual mode. Another thing that I would recommend, don't forget to check ad level ROAS, which means your campaign might be profitable, like as a whole campaign with all of the ads, with all of the ad sets, but it could be even more profitable if you cut losing ads. So don't be afraid to scale and don't be afraid to make cuts. All right, so key points to remember: you can only scale if you have good creatives. The whole strategy that I showed you is only working if you have good ads to start with. And if you want to learn how to create amazing ads for your business, for your e-commerce store, just click below in the description. I have a whole tutorial showing you how to do that. So creatives will always be the most important aspects of scaling. If you have a good creative, even if you make so many different mistakes, you can still scale your ads profitably. Another thing you should remember is that testing campaigns will be different from scaling campaigns. This is specifically for scaling. This is when you have great creatives and you want to just maximize your profits with those ads. And another thing I would recommend is using GetHook. This is a software that we have developed to find winning ads and scaling ads faster. GetHook has over 9 million ads in different categories. It has videos, it has images from different advertisers, and on a daily basis, it's scraping internet to find you amazing winning ads that you can model. You can also spy on any brand that you want. You can see how many ads are running, how many ads are run in the past, and you can see whether they're downscaling or upscaling. This is a great tool to see what ads your competitors are running, what are their best performing landing pages, their performing ads, their top performing hooks, all of the best strategies strategies your competitors use, you can replicate them in minutes. Now, everything that I shared with you, it's something that's working for us right now in our brands. It's not guaranteed that it will work for you. And to find this strategy specifically, we've tested dozens of different strategies. We've tested like so many different things and we spent a lot of money. So I don't want you to just take this strategy and then spend all of your like monthly budget on it and then come back to me. It's like, Alex, you told me that strategy and that strategy, kind of like doesn't work. So you better be testing everything that I shared with you. It can work for you or also might not work for you because every ad account is different. Every store is different, every niche is different. If you're advertising in specific countries, the approach also could be different. So make sure to test things out before you just like spend your whole budget on it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions when it comes to scaling your Facebook ad campaigns, just let me know in the comments below. I'll answer to each one of those personally. And if you like this video, you'll probably enjoy this video here where I talk about creating an amazing creative strategy for your business, where you get a lot of winning ads on a daily basis. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.